who really attacked Kissy Missy. You're gonna be shocked. We meet Poppy and she starts complimenting us on all we've done after we beat Catnap with a prototype and move the red smoke to the left tube in the gas production zone. She goes on to suggest that we should be informed about the real story behind Playtime Co.'s demise and offers to record us what they like to refer to as the Hour of Joy. And after seeing this, Kissy Missy appears at the big door on the left and assists in using the elevator to take us to the bottom of the space. And when we get to the bottom, Poppy tells Kissy Missy that we'll send the lift back up to her. However, all we can hear as we descend is,
"Right. Once we hit the ground, we need to be cautious. There's something..." What's she doing? No! No! We're coming! Just hold on! Come on, go faster! Kissy!
Thus, the chapter comes to a close. Soko might have assaulted Kissy Missy. For what reason did they do it? And how will this affect future developments? I have 3 ideas about what might have happened to her. However, let us begin with the least probable. Pay attention to the very first sound that Kissy Missy makes when she's being attacked. Do you recognize this? Actually, Huggy Wuggy jump scares us with the exact same noise as he makes here. But first, why would Kissy Missy make this noise? Well, a lot of people are persuaded to believe that Huggy Wuggy made the first sound himself. However, the rest of the attack would be completely nonsensical if we were to believe that they were both present in the room. You can hear Kissy Missy stomping around on top of the yelling. However, there are no more footsteps audible. The pace of the footsteps would have been doubled or much faster if Huggy Wuggy had attacked her.
What's she doing?
Furthermore, how could Huggy Wuggy have arrived there in the first place? And why would he go after Kissy Missy right away? Since he probably only attacked us in the first chapter because he was starving, I can sort of understand the second section. This is due to reports that prior to the Hour of Joy, Huggy Wuggy was quite submissive to the staff and didn't often act out. But once Huggy Wuggy began to feel the effects of the prototype, things began to gradually go south. Thus, he turned into a merciless killer who was only hostile when provoked. But what if he was never dead in the first place? Huggy Wuggy can be seen plunging all the way to the bottom of Playtime Co. at the end of Chapter 1. And landing in a sizable body of water would have been his sole chance of survival. While it appears like we will be traversing waterways in Chapter 3, it is improbable that this would be sufficient to prevent Huggy Wuggy from falling. Furthermore, I don't believe the river beneath Poppy's walkway is where we see it in Chapter 3. However, who else might have assaulted Kissy Missy? The prototype is now everyone's automatic defense against the onslaught. But in reality, we have no evidence to support this. It's been demonstrated that the prototype will only interact with toys that are either near death or have already passed away. And the prototype's initial motivation for hiding himself as much as possible would entirely alter if he were to break this rule. However, it's plausible that the prototype was involved in the attack in some way. We have to return to the playhouse in order to do this. Dog Day tells us how he got into this situation when we discover him in one of the jail cells, and he states this in his conversation.
We tried to fight it. The prototype's control.
Now there are 2 ways to interpret this. The first is that the prototype has the real ability to corrupt your thoughts and make you evil. Second, it would be incredibly challenging to oppose the prototype because he has complete power over all the other toys. Assuming the first explanation, it's plausible that the prototype began attempting to subjugate Kissy Missy and turn her wicked, which explains why we don't hear any other people kicking or screaming. Kissy Missy might be going crazy over all of this, and we may have to put her back in her rightful ways in the upcoming chapter. He would most likely apply the same strategy on Kissy Missy as he used to turn Huggy Wuggy from obedient to ruthless. But we don't really have anything to go on at this point. What's going on with Kissy Missy is hidden from our view, and what we heard is the only information that is truly useful. In the entire game, Kissy Missy was never said to have any enemies. Huggy Wuggy is the only character who has any connection to Kissy Missy. And once more, he was purportedly killed in Chapter 1. Since nobody had any prior justification for attacking Kissy Missy, this had to have been planned by someone else. That reminds me of the prototype. However, it's likely that he dispatched another character to handle the task rather than sending him directly. Moreover, it might be a character that we haven't even seen yet. Many individuals have been making assumptions about what might occur in the upcoming chapter. However, who will serve as his primary antagonist? Chapter 4 won't likely be the final chapter in my opinion. This implies that the prototype cannot be the final character we eliminate. That being stated, is it feasible that the perpetrator of Kissy Missy's attack will serve as Chapter 4's primary antagonist? That's a bit of a stretch, but once more, there's not really much evidence to support that. Additionally, as we leave Home Sweet Home after being attacked by Kissy Missy, Poppy informs us in the elevator that Catnap was the last barrier he placed in our way.
Catnap is coming. He's the final obstacle the prototype has placed against us. We can't stay here. Keep yourself safe.
That would exclude him from sending anyone else down to join us, wouldn't it? I find myself wondering how Poppy obtained this knowledge as well. But that's a topic for a different theory. I will, however, bring up how Kissy Missy came to be attacked in the first place. You can observe that the chamber entry is just behind Kissy Missy by observing the location of the lever that descends the lift and Kissy Missy's position when she pulls it. This implies that the person who attacked her had to sneak into the room before striking her. This is also the reason I don't believe Huggy Wuggy is the primary offender, because he doesn't seem like the quiet kind to me. Catnap is said to be a cunning figure, however he was recently killed. He is so removed off the list as well. You may argue that Boxy Boo is a stealthy person, yet there are a lot of issues with him potentially attacking Kissy Missy. However, there is a certain cast of characters that might be able to pull this off, the mini smiling critters. When I first mentioned Kissy Missy stomping around while screaming earlier in the film, I connected this to someone attempting to control her. But what if this was because she was startled by the number of toys that were slashed at her? We can assume that Kissy Missy isn't really attempting to defend herself based just on the noises she makes when attacked. It really does sound like cries for assistance. The problem with pinning the attack on any figure, though, is that you are limited to hearing Kissy Missy's voice in the room. We must therefore essentially judge someone based only on their malevolent purpose. We now have to make assumptions about how this affects the plot and what will happen in the upcoming chapter. First things first, we need to determine why Poppy was initially drawing us more into Playtime Co. She has stated repeatedly that we must kill the prototype, therefore it is likely that she is taking us to this new location so that we can carry out her repeated instructions. However, since Kissy Missy has been attacked, I believe that a significant chunk of the upcoming chapter will be dedicated to rescuing her and identifying the attacker. And maybe after that, we'll return to our first strategy of destroying the prototype. It might already be too late by then. However, who do you believe attacked Miss Kissy? And will the next chapter have them for us to see? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you for seeing. Please subscribe. I'll talk to you later.